Lifted KC, we aim to reduce the stigma associated with mental health by promoting awareness of mental illness, its symptoms, and providing resources for those in need. We believe that through trust, relationships, understanding, service, and teamwork, transformation is possible. Support the Men Heal movement by donating to the Cash App handle LiftedKC.org. For more information about our organization, visit www.liftedkc.org. Lifted KC, transforming lives through hope and healing.
What's good? This is Jazz from 64111 Studio. Make sure you holler at me for all your mixing, mastering, and recording needs. For booking, please visit www.64111studio.com.
To all my brothers, all my sisters, to any and everyone tuning in and trying to navigate this thing called life. Whether you've been following this healing movement from the jump, or you're brand new to the family and tapping in for the first time, welcome. Welcome. You are absolutely welcome. This is the Blacked Out Couch Podcast. But we like to think of this as more of a safe space for decompressing instead of your typical pod. The purpose of this show is to encourage and promote mental health awareness in our communities. For decades, the mere idea of addressing trauma and healing has always been taboo in the Black culture. We are hoping to change that narrative, one day at a time, one conversation at a time. Now, keep in mind, although we do believe wholeheartedly that the keys to an intentional healing journey include support groups such as these, as well as a variety of other ways to cope, in no way, shape, or form is this show intended to be a replacement or substitute for professional treatment of your mental health needs. We want to encourage, uplift, and provide our audience with tools and resources that have helped some of us maneuver in our day-to-day routines. While some of our panelists do have experience and specialize in the mental health industry, we are all everyday people trying to get by, just like you. So always remember, no matter what you may be going through, you are not alone. It's going to take plenty of courage to see this thing through. But I have faith in us, ladies and gentlemen. Again, welcome everyone. I hope we heal.
All right. Welcome back to the Blacked Out Couch Podcast. I'm your host and your moderator, Mr. Rodney Lee. And as always, we want to thank everybody for tuning in with us tonight, and all season for that matter. You know, this first season has been both rewarding and challenging in multiple ways. So I just want to make sure that I give a shout out to all of the individual listeners, all of the individual viewers, everybody that's been sending us messages throughout the season to keep us motivated, to keep us inspired. I want you guys to know that you all are the true inspiration behind this project. And it's just been an honor to share your healing journey with you. So I want to continue to move this thing in the right direction. So, major thanks and appreciation to all of you guys. I also want to shout out all of the amazing entrepreneurs that's been working behind the scenes with Angela Marie Publishing on this project. Major shout out to Flo Marie Art. She's a sketch artist out of Kansas City, Missouri. She helped design our logos and our branding. Her vision is top tier, y'all. So make sure y'all check her out. And a major shout out to Miss Flo. Also, I want to give a shout out to G Don on the Slap for providing the soundtrack for the podcast. Our producer, our video editing team. Huge shout out to Go Giga, which is a group of ladies out of Florida. They do phenomenal work with us, episode in and episode out. And those ladies have truly been putting on. Y'all know Black Girl Magic is a real thing, y'all. If you thought otherwise and you thought wrong, because I can personally attest that I'm surrounded by Black Girl Magic, by Queen Energy. In my day-to-day activities here at Angela Marie Publishing, it's majority female owned, it's majority female operated, and I'm just blessed and lucky to have such a great team of Black Girl Magic. I want to make sure that I keep throwing that out there. Black Girl Magic, Black Girl Magic. Shout out to all of the sisters. I also want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. The Popper from KC Clothing. I want to give a shout out to my bro Jazz from 64111 Studio, and also my sister Miss Devin Elise from Lifted KC. Y'all make sure y'all check out Miss Devin's new book, Sit in Your Shit. She recently published an amazing journal for processing a crisis, and I'm super proud to be working with her on helping the community in their healing journeys. So shout out to Miss Devin. We love you here at Angela Marie Publishing, and a lot of these things, a lot of these ideas, and the energy that we have day to day, or episode in, episode out with these episodes, the topics, the talking points. Ms. Devin has been a huge contributor to that, and we love working with her. Last but not least, I also want to show appreciation to the panels, both the brothers and the sisters panels. Y'all, it's been a real blessing to have all these conversations with all the different points of view, all of the courage it's taken to be vulnerable, all of the wisdom and expertise from the mental health specialists that we work with. I can't thank the panel members enough for showing up on the couch, week in and week out, man. We definitely have been honored and blessed for you guys to cross paths with us, and we thank you for that. Last time we heard from the sisters, they opened up the dialogue on the pros and cons of being either a token, trophy, or a virtuous woman in our community. And it was a really deep conversation, as always. But tonight, it's all about the brothers again. So I'm super excited to dive into this dialogue. Now, on our last episode, we talked about vices and coping mechanisms. And there was one talking point in particular that we just knew we was going to have to circle back around to. So tonight's episode is called Hypersexuality. And I got a great group of brothers joining me on the couch to open the floodgates on this season 1 finale for the man. So let's check in with the panel and get this ball rolling. All right, man. It's been a long one, fellas, man. What's going on with y'all, man? How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
All right. Peace and blessings, brother.
Another day in paradise.
Right on, man. Well, look, man, before we get started, we do have a new brother on the couch with us tonight, Mr. Donald Wiggins. So, Brother Wiggins, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience? Let us know, what you do, what inspires you, what brought you to the couch tonight.
Appreciate you, Ollie Rod, man. Appreciate, coming to the platform with you guys for the first time, man. Everybody on the platform, I want to say hello, what's up to y'all. I'm Donald Wiggins. I'm a barber, local barber, slash entrepreneur, businessman. Let's see, 44 years old, born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. Circa of 1997, Southeast Nights. And then also I did some time in the military. So I'm a veteran, and I'm a father and a married man.
Right on, man. Well, look, man, we appreciate you joining us tonight, man, for sure. One of the things that we do, man, and I'm actually circle around and do this for all of the brothers, but we'll start with you, Mr. Wiggins, since this is your first time on the couch. One of the things that we do a temperature check. So on a scale of 1 to 10, man, how would you rate your mental health today, your mental well-being?
Just to be, transparent, what's going on in my mental is probably like a 5, but the coping mechanisms is up to about a 7 or 8.
Right on, bro. Right on. Well, look, man, you're welcome to join us anytime on the couch, man. We've had a long season, man. This is actually going to be the last episode for this season from the brothers panel. So everybody, man, just pat yourself on the back, man, because we made it through this season, man. It's been a long, rugged road. But we uncovered and unpacked a lot of things this season, man, just between the podcast and, between unpacking and the podcast. So, Brother Wiggins, welcome, man. You've joined us several times on the unpacking sessions, but, it's your first time on the couch tonight, man. So I'm glad to have you here with us tonight. Let's just keep it moving. So, Brother Game Tight, what's going on with you, brother? Scale of 1 to 10. Let's get that temperature check.
Let me get this tube remuted, bro.
Uh-oh.
Temperature check. 3.5, 4. 3.5, 4.
Man, well, look, bro, it's even a miracle that you even with us here tonight, man. So, definitely, man, as always, bro, I definitely appreciate you, man. And if you got anything you want to get off your chest, man, you always welcome here, bro.
Sure, appreciate it.
Right on. Let's see who else we got out here. Brother G Don, what's going on with you, man? Give me your temperature check.
What's going on? Peace and blessings to you, brother. Like I always say to everybody watching, sometimes you just need to quit being a bitch and go to therapy. Sometimes you need to gain you some understanding. Sometimes you need to just gain you some extra skills. Ain't nothing wrong with getting that maintenance check. But I would say right now I'm cruising at about a 6. I got a health condition that's flaring up on me, causing me a little trouble. But other than that, I went through, I kind of shared earlier that earlier in the year during the first recording, and that first recording literally lost my job and my car broke down within the span of like 2 or 3 days. And so with all the extra ramifications behind that, just been keeping the faith, staying in therapy, speaking to you brothers, which is like an extra therapy, and, staying prayed up and trusting God. And even though I got this little flare up with my health condition, I still see myself coming around the bend on everything.
Oh, did we lose you now?
Yeah, hello? It was the last thing you heard.
I heard something about trusting God, but I don't know if the rest of the brothers couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. But yeah, not just trusting God. And, this year, life gave me a little chin check, but, staying in the fight, staying positive, trusting God, and keeping it moving. So, yeah, about a 6.
Right on, bro. Well, look, man, as always, man, I love it every time you say it, man. Quit being a bitch and go to therapy. And you know what, man? It's been a while, man. I started therapy back in my 20s, man, but it's actually been a while since I've actually sat down and had an official session. But I will tell you, man, hearing you say that repeatedly every episode, as well as these sessions that we continue to have or have had throughout the season, I've actually started looking for a new therapist, man, so I can actually get back in the swing of that piece. Amen. Of my mental awareness and my mental health and my the therapeutic sessions, man. So definitely, man, I want you to know that if didn't nobody else hear you, your boy Rod heard you. So right on, man. I appreciate you being here with us tonight.
Right on.
Okay, let's see. Who else we got? My brother Marcus. What's going on with you, man? Let's get a temperature check from you.
Yes, sir. Fam, how are we doing, everyone? I I would say today I'm roughly about a 7.5.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
And that's today is today is the day. Man, a few years back I lost a brother on this day. And so just remembering, man, and try to keep moving forward. So, it's just lifing on this side, dealing with that and just moving forward.
Man, I definitely I don't know about any of the other brothers, but I definitely relate, man, to, those anniversaries, those dates that come up, when we've lost loved ones. I go through that a lot, whether it's, the day that we lost them or the day that they were born. I find myself, just kind of having to pay more attention, be more mindful about my emotions and try to continue to move forward, bro. So definitely, Brother Marcus, I appreciate you being here, man. And my condolences, no matter how long ago it was.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
Okay, and then last but not least, we got my man JB. JB, what's going on? You're gonna have to explain your description, JB, man. I ain't gonna keep just looking at it and smirking to myself. Well, what's going on, man? Give us a temperature check.
What's going on, fellas? I will put myself at a 7 today. Other than that, what's my description? What do you mean? Kevin Samuels was right. Where's the lie?
You don't want to explain it. It just speaks for itself.
I'm just saying the Honorable Kevin Samuels left us with some gems before he departed this land, and I'm just one of those who just want to keep that truth alive.
Man, I can't do this with you, man. My dog, man. Well, look, man. For everybody, man, everybody that decides to join us tonight, man. As always, bro, I appreciate y'all, man. Do whatever it is that you got to do. As long as it's not harming yourself or others, do whatever it is that you got to do, man, to just continue to move forward and push forward. Because it's been a rough one for myself, man. I think I would probably say I'm at about maybe a 6.5, 6.5 or a 7. It's been real crazy. Me having equipment issues, things going on with work. The month of September was really, really tough. My mom's had a heavenly birthday. So, it's just been tough, man. And so I'm about a 6.5, 7 today. And I'm just glad that we all here today, man, to try to kick this thing off, man, and get something good, some good dialogue, man, out of this last episode that we have for the season, because I'm gonna tell y'all, man, I'm gonna be very anxious, man, to get this thing back going next season whenever we start back up next year. But I'm real interested to see some of you brothers' thoughts on tonight's subject tonight. So tonight, man, the subject and the topic of tonight is hypersexuality. So, last week, or not last week, but last episode, we talked about vices, the concept of self-care, vices, coping mechanisms. And, one of the things that was brought up was, using sex as a vice. And, so I couldn't have been more excited to even, touch on that just a little bit, because I did want to make sure that we did touch on that in this first season at some point. So that'll be the subject of tonight's conversation. So as always, man, I got a list of questions over here. I'll throw some questions out there. If anybody else has some questions or thoughts, just throw them out there. Whatever tangents we get on, let's get on it. But let's just all just be real, raw, authentic, and 100% participants tonight. So first question I got, man, is really just about identifying the source, man. We're talking about hypersexuality in our community, main so amongst the male piece of our community, because it is just the brothers on here tonight. So I wanted to ask you, brothers, what are your beliefs on sex today versus what you grew up being taught or shown? And anybody can answer that in any order.
Repeat that question for me again.
Yes, sir. I said, what are your beliefs on sex today versus what you grew up being taught or shown?
Honestly, I can't say that mine have really changed. I've always kind of looked at it the same. both the negative and the positive aspects of it, you know, the natural and the spiritual aspects of it. My outlook has kind of always been the same. You know, on one hand, it's something, you know, spiritually, it's something that, you know, I look at it as a reward from God. You know what I'm saying? Outside of just mating in the animal sense, you know, we're probably the only, if not one of the few animals who, you know, do it for recreation. You know, I guess that's a good way of putting it. We're the only, you know, one of the few animals who do it for recreation. And I just feel like it's, you know, one of the rewards that God has for us. On the other hand, I definitely understand why, because of everything that can come from it outside of just, you know, creating a life, everything that can come from it, from, you know, soul ties, emotional ties, not thinking clearly, art. And on the flip side, you know, you and your significant other could have had a bad argument, you know, and everybody love makeup sex. You know what I'm saying? It's just something about getting it in one good time, put you both back on the same wavelength, you know? So for me, growing up, you know, like I've shared a couple of times, I grew up pretty heavily in the church. And, you know, there was a situation where there was a lot of people who were taking their vow of chastity and everything. And I didn't go up there and take mine. And so my pops took me off to the side. Me and him had a conversation. And I said, nigga, you got till I'm 18. And he was like, that's cool with me. You ain't got to take it. And then that was that. And so I understood it conceptually on that level, but I didn't truly understand it until I actually lost my virginity and started, you know, experiencing some of the things. My particular experience with sex has been it's been volatile in some situations, and in some situations it's kind of just the regular, you know, I had my seasons where I was just, you know, doing the stereotypical regular stuff. And then I would also go through a season, me personally, and I'm not ashamed to say this, where I would just be done. Like, I wasn't looking for a relationship, and I wasn't willing to deal with everything that comes from pursuing a woman sexually, purely for sex. So I would go, you know, 6 months to a year without even having sex, just focusing on myself and, you know, getting myself together. So, but to answer the, you know, back to the main question, I would say my personal opinion and outlook on it hasn't changed. You know, it's if you built like that, then yeah, you can be out here smashing, doing whatever. Most people ain't built like that, men or women. Yes, more men are built like that than women, but a lot of men ain't built like that either. We all know that brother. We all know the story of the brother who, you know, the fella's running the train and then he go in there and fall in love with the chick. We all know that story, you know, so all of us ain't built like that. And I think we all, as a society, especially as Black people, but in general, we all need to, of course, take it a little bit more seriously. And then also, in some ways, not take it as seriously. You know, if you and your wife, if y'all married or y'all been together forever, or, you know, whatever y'all call yourself, whatever y'all do in y'all bedroom is y'all business. You know, I think it's, I can't think of the exact scripture, but it says, you know, the bedroom is undefiled. You know, I truly believe that whatever a man and his wife do, that's between them. You know, leave that alone. It don't mean nothing outside of life. Just because you heard some stuff of what he like to do, you know what I'm saying, in his spare time with his spouse, don't necessarily affect what he do outside of that, you know. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Well, I mean, that's a good thought process. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I'm about to talk. That was it. Me personally, I've changed totally.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper, of course. Now, at first, you know, it was about, you know, it was a game. You know what I mean? It was, you know, I want to holler at the chick, and no pursuant of relationships or anything like that. It was always, you know, can I get it? You know, and not only that, can I get it? I was trying to get it fast, you know, and move on, you know. But as you know, my heart started to convict, and I started to be a little bit more respectful to women. And then not only that, I started to respect what God thought about it. Now my thought process has totally, shifted 180. I can't even look at a woman now. I can look at a woman and say yes. Physically with my eyes, I can look at this woman and says, yes, that woman is beautiful. But not once do I look at it lustfully. At one point in time, that's how I did it. I looked at it lustfully. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to get that. But now if I see a beautiful woman, I said, that's what God created. And I'm not looking at her. I want to put her in my bed. So, my thought process has shifted 180 from, it being introduced from my virginity all the way up to the point, where I'm at today. So, yeah, it's a little bit different for me.
Okay, right on. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was going to add that. I was going to jump in. Man, it's a lovely thing, bro. It is a sex within itself. It's a beautiful thing within timing. As far as my beliefs, my beliefs, it helps. Those are my boundaries, if you will, to kind of keep me out of trouble and to keep me guided in the right direction. But one of the things that, I understand now that I did not understand early on when I fell off into, lost my virginity and everything, was that I don't know if we understand that there's a transference of influence with those that we lay with or those that we, get sex with. There's a transferring influence, transferring of power. And so, and I have grown, because just like some of the other brothers, that's what, it is what it is. And so it becomes, once you get started, man, it becomes more of a thing. Just like eating, just like using the restroom or whatever you want to associate it with. It just becomes a function. So there's no true substance behind it if it's not coming out of love, and it is what it is at that point in time.
Are you saying that that's soul ties though? Because you said a transference. Are you referring to soul ties?
Talking about spirits, period. So, if you want to call it soul ties, if that's how you understand it, I'm just saying spirits, period. And we may not understand it at that point in time, but yeah, it is what it is on that. So so anyone that you have sexual contact with, and regardless of the type, you're taking something away and you're giving something to the one that you're involved with. Hopefully that makes sense.
It makes sense, but I guess I'm just for the sake of the audience, I guess I'm trying to clarify, like, it's when it comes to spirits, that's totally different to me than soul ties. Like it sounds the same when you say it, but my understanding is of a different, if that makes sense.
It does, and we're all speaking off of our own, right? So that's where I'm coming from, and so I have to be mindful of that. That everyone is going to refer off of their own understanding, their own knowledge that they've already experienced with. Just like reading a book, whatever, or whatever you're involved with, you're going to refer to what you understand. And so you may not get it now. You may get it 5 years from now. You may get it, may not get it. But that's just what I'm speaking on. That's just my understanding of it.
Right on. Brother Marcus, you the second half of the question was has that the way that you look at it, has that shifted in any way, from when you were a child versus now as an adult?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. And once again, as a child, I didn't understand, right? And so it's like now I teach about it differently because I have blunt conversations with my kids, and especially when you have daughters who are seniors in high school and about to be in this world on their own and in a different state. You're a little bit more blunt with them, and you teach them accordingly. You teach them. Let me bring this back to me. I teach her based on my failures and the things that I didn't know when I was growing up. And so I don't recall if we had this conversation early on about teaching through your failures, but this is one that I definitely teach through. So, my daughters, there's no excuse of I didn't know, or why didn't you tell me? Now she's going to get out and do whatever she wants to do. She's big enough and bad enough to do, but the excuse of not knowing has been eliminated. Did I answer that question, brother?
Absolutely. Yeah. For me personally, because I know all of you brothers personally, most of you guys I've known for decades or better. So I know the answer to some of these questions personally, but I just want to make sure that we are open in front of our audience and make sure that we clarify anything. So I might ask some questions that I, of course, know the answers to. But yes, Brother Marcus, I feel you 1,000% on that. And it's a very interesting dynamic when I hear some of you brothers that are fathers now speak about some of your beliefs on sex, now versus, before you were a father, because, I don't have kids yet. So I always pay attention, man, whether y'all understand that or not. Did anybody else want to chime in on that? Game tight, JB?
I just got to say one thing. Man, they are not our kids. They are our children, kids, baby goats. But keep on going.
Boy, here you go. You gonna correct everybody? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Brother Wiggins is here to correct us. He the language police tonight.
Man, we ain't got no kids. We got children.
Y'all, the real point was your brothers are fathers, right? So, you brothers were fathers, man. It's real interesting to hear y'all's perspective. So, Brother JB or Game Tight, did y'all want to answer that question?
Yeah, I can hop in. And it's going to echo what everybody else is saying. So, just the way I see it differently now is the weight it carries, the responsibility of it, versus as younger men, adolescents, teenagers, like Donald said, we just trying to get it, and the fallout from us getting it, we don't care. Like, so be it. So just, as an older man now, just understanding the weight it carries and, and how it can influence a partner, things like that. So just being more responsible in terms of how that's used now.
Right on. GT, did you want to chime in on that?
I'm gonna hold off on that one.
Okay. So for me, I'll go ahead and answer the question there. My beliefs today versus when I was younger, before I lost my virginity as an adolescent, when I was hitting everything moving, my beliefs and my outlook on it have definitely changed. On the dynamic side of it, some of my most of my sexual preferences, behaviors, kinks, some of those things they all kind of stay the same, but just the way that I look at things of course have changed. I think that, like you said, JB, this echoes most of the brothers. The older that we get, the more mature that we become, we start to understand life from a different perspective. And sex is really the source of life in so many different ways, man. It's such a powerful act between humans, between all animals in nature, but especially the ones, us that are intelligent beings in nature. It's such a powerful act. So definitely I've had to mature in my outlook on a lot of those things. A lot of you brothers did know me when we were teenagers. And I think that we all kind of had similar habits and routines as far as sex was concerned. And we'll get into that with some of the other questions later. But definitely, I think that most of my thoughts, my outlooks, my principles about sex have changed drastically from those days. So my next question really.
No. I'm gonna jump in. Let me jump in.
Oh, go ahead. Is that GT?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have a question for the fellas.
Yes, sir.
For the men that have daughters, how old? What's your oldest daughter? How old is your daughter?
My oldest is 18.
I have a 17-year-old and a 2-year-old. Daughters. Yes.
All right. I just wanted to see. I've got a 20-year-old. Should be 21 in March. And some of the things that we're discussing this evening actually kind of hits home because, you know, my daughter's at that age. She's of age, you know, college lifestyle, just that, them young 20s, wild, young and dumb where, we like, where I say you just didn't know no better. You look at it different now, but, I was going to withhold from this, but I just wanted to see like who all had daughters and how old they were because of what I'm going through currently with my daughter. Yeah, she's got she got a little nigga, that she been, fucking with since, she was, probably ever since she was in high school. She's been the basketball coach for the senior team. That's when, she was in high school. And, from day one, I knew. I'm like, what female wants to be the manager of the boys team? Like maybe the girls team, but you want to be the water girl for the boys. Like, and of course, the niggas on the basketball team ain't got no problem with it. So now, they done graduated, both went to school, both back home now, they both going through some, relationship issues. Not all that I agree with, but, I'm also having to learn how to be a protective father, but still give her a space and allow her to learn. And as much as I can, you know what I'm saying? Because, if you know me, I'll let you know I'm a very protective person, especially over the females, in my family, and not even just in my family, just, I just feel like I'm very protective, over women, especially, if you're close to me in my heart, even more so is what I'm saying. So it's hard, man. It's tough. And, hearing the conversation tonight and, knowing I have, this young adult, in the prime of her life, wow, no kids, y'all remember them times. So, that's why I was like, I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna let some comments come in, but just wanted to throw that 2 cents in.
Can I say something on that, bro?
For sure, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Gabe, I appreciate you on because things are perfect in our minds, right? But when our children or our goats or children, whatever we want to call them, my seed, and I'm messing with you there. But when they come out, they still they got to get out and experience life on their own at some point in time. And there are some things that I've mentioned to my daughter, at 17. And one of the things I continue to remind her is that I haven't had a 17-year-old daughter before. I haven't had an 18-year-old daughter before. We got to understand together. And so as a dad, I'm going to make some mistakes. I'm going to make some decisions that you may not like. But if you could, please trust me, because I'm coming from my heart and I don't want to see any harm done to you, whether spiritually, physically, or whatever. So just constantly reminding ourselves, man, unless you've had it before, man, we still learning because we don't know everything now. And she has to teach me on some things. And so, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Game tight. Appreciate you for sharing that, bro. But hey, we still learning. I don't have it all together. You know, I got my expectations, but at the same time, we have, as fathers, have to also be open that things have changed. Principles don't change, but some of the things have.
Correct. And you know, as fathers, as you all know, it's hard to open up to those type of thoughts when it comes to, you know, your pride and joy, your baby girl, you know, your prize, you know, like you said, however you want to call her. But yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate you sharing, you know what I'm saying? Because like you say, I ain't never had a 20 going on 21-year-old, you know, going through, you know, some of the things that she's going through and having to be a father to it. So, you know, you hit the nail on the head with that one, and I appreciate you.
No doubt. That's what we're here for, bro. Everybody on here. That's what we're here for.
For sure. For sure, man. I don't have thoughts on that because I've never even had a 1-day-old daughter, right? So you brothers have a lot more experience with just having daughters in general. But all I will say is, man, my heart and my prayers go out to any brothers with kids, period, man, but especially with girls, man, because we are very protective of the women in our community, whether or not they understand or know it, whether or not the general public sees it, whether or not we show it day to day. I think just about every brother that I know and I associate with are very protective of the women in their circle and the women in their lives, and especially their baby girls. So me personally, I don't have any thoughts. Did anybody else with daughters have maybe any thoughts or words of encouragement for the next brother with a daughter? Are we ready to talk about that piece of it?
Well, I don't have any daughters. I've got sons, but the one thing that I've noticed, our generation, so to speak, versus the women that we dated, that's in our, you know, I mean, versus our, you know, you guys' daughters' generation, so to speak. Fathers are more active these days that I've noticed with their daughters. You know, I can recall, besides my wife, only one girlfriend that had their dad in their life. Out of all the women I've dated, only one, besides my wife. So I want to, you know, just congratulate you gentlemen. You know what I mean? You know, for being in your daughter's lives and, you know, teaching them, you know, the right way, because, you know, now you guys are preparing your daughters to be wives for good husbands. So I just want to, you know, give that accolade to you guys.
Right on. You know, this wasn't my next question, but I'll go ahead and ask it now that we here. For you brothers that have had daughters, do you feel like that changed any of your outlook on sex, the principles that you had on sex, having a girl? Is that something? Because, you know, when we teenagers, you know, we always joke around, man, you know, I don't want no daughters, man. The worst thing in the world, you know, is getting karma through having a little girl. How do you brothers feel about that with your principles, your beliefs on sex, your habits, your history on sex? Did having a daughter change anything there?
I can speak on this because I was actually just asked by a mental health professional how I feel about the outlook of sexuality with my children. It didn't change for me one bit. And I think so because at this point, best way to say it, I come at it from a different angle. It's more health. It's a more healthy outlook for me in terms of sex versus how I used to be, or how I used to think about it. So now I'm a lot more comfortable with it, just in terms, you know, like, because I mean, I'm comfortable with it because I look at it like this. I know how I was in high school. I know how girlfriends were in high school, going into college and all that. So I feel I'm okay with it because I talked to my kids about it. I can't say I prepared them. I've done my best. And actually what Marcus and GT was just talking about, it's in your hands now. Like you at an age, like I can't hold your hand the entire time now. I've instilled some things in you for a reason, and let's see how it goes. Because even now, because I know I was talking to you guys before we started recording about my other daughter and the dating situation. I'm not even strict about my daughter seeing young men. I just have rules. And those rules have to be followed. But outside of that, just to answer the question, it hasn't changed for me.
Okay.
So for myself, I don't think it changed for myself either. As JB mentioned, my only rule for my daughter, well, for both of my kids, my only rule was not just one. You can't date just one person. And that may seem crazy. But in the event, because for me, just one, you're playing around with it. You might as well get married at 14, 15. And so if you're dating more than one person, we're just talking about dating. We ain't talking about sleeping or anything else. We know those things are going to come, but we're just talking about dating. What's wrong with having multiple friends? You ain't married. And so the method behind that madness is that if you feel like you have to have just one, it's probably not time for you just yet, especially at this age, because you have grown-ups that can't deal with relationships. So what makes you think as a teenager you're going to be able to deal with those, deal with relationships? But my whole thing behind that is that, you're going to find out who has a weak mentality. You're going to find out who has low self-esteem, because everybody know, man, shoot, you can't deal with such and such on your own. She got multiple ones. And myself, I'm just frank like that. And so, ain't playing no games with it. It is what it is, and if you want to come just for what you think you want, you can try it. But yeah, so that's always been my rule, is that whether it was the boy or the girl, you can have them, just don't do one.
That's the first time I've ever heard something like that.
I got a question for you guys. Is there a difference with the talk for you guys that has daughters as well as sons? If you have any adolescents or grown adults, whatever the case may be, but is the conversation totally different about sex with your sons versus your daughter?
There we go. Let's talk about it.
So,
is there a double standard? Let's talk about it.
So I have two daughters, two boys, 18, 17, and then 11 and 5. So my 11-year-old, he's approaching that age. He's starting to notice girls. So I'm talking to him a little bit about it. I haven't gone too in depth with him, just based on his maturity level. But I do believe double standards exist. However, in this, I do not. So I'm approaching it the exact same way with my sons as I did my daughters.
That's interesting, because I've always felt like that. I would be like that knight in shining armor type of dad if I had a daughter. You don't even look at her. But listening to you guys, it seems like, to be realistic, that you want to keep an even keel, but it doesn't. It doesn't gonna play out in life? We don't know, but I like that thought process. That's interesting.
So I will say this. Back in the day, so in my 20s, and it was probably a joke, probably tongue in cheek, but I used to be like, oh yeah, my son gonna have a key to the house, so I'm gonna let him smash whatever time he wants to, blah, blah, blah. But of course, Of course, as I got a little more mature with my thought process, because we've all said it, I already know. But as I grow more mature, that's changed for me, because and it just comes from how I was taught about it. So, I learned as I got older. It's just different situations. I was able to throw out the BS that I was taught and actually process some information, and I'm gonna approach it the same way with both of them.
I was gonna ask, one of the next questions I was gonna ask was who were your original teachers? How were you first exposed to the concept or principles of sex? But JB, you just made me think about something, man, when you was talking about some of the aspirations you had as a young man for your son that of course have changed since then. And you said something about, that kind of just came from the way that you were taught, the way that you learned about it. Were you referring to kind of your self-experience, or were you referring to more, individuals or groups of individuals, people that first exposed you to sex? So definitely how I was exposed to it. Okay. And how I was taught to look at it. So and I can hold off because I think we're gonna talk about that later, but it was my pops that exposed me, and looking back at it, like man, what the hell were you thinking? So and that's exactly what I was thinking, bro. I swear, because when you said that, I don't know why, bro. I ain't thought about this probably in years, man. But I thought about a conversation that I had with my pops, I think right after I turned 15. And my pops, rest his soul, man. Hell of a man. He was a wonderful role model for me, bro. But when it came to sex, man, I think that most of my early exposure to sex, whether it was from adults or peers or, people that might have been a little bit older, all of that shit was fucked up. And I thought about a conversation that my dad was having. I was at the house with him and one of his partners. They was drinking. I was sitting there playing Super Nintendo. And they started asking me about sex, asking me if I had gotten any pussy, right? And of course, I was actually still a virgin. I didn't lose my virginity till I was 15, a little bit later that summer, but I had just turned 15. And my dad asked me about this, and I told him, no, I hadn't, had any interactions or any intercourse with any young ladies. And so him and his partner got to laughing about it. And they started joking between each other. Now, I don't know if they were serious, but they were saying that on my next birthday, they basically said, man, they need to go get a hooker for me to suck on my little dick. And I'll never forget this conversation, bro. The reason why I say I don't know if they were joking or if they were serious, because by the time my next birthday came around, I was no longer a virgin. So me and my dad was having different conversations. But it just made me think about certain interactions that I had, experiences that I had at a very young age, and some of my first exposures to sex. So if any of you brothers had any similar experiences, or if you just want to talk about who or how you were first exposed to sex, man, go right ahead. But I did just think about that, JB, when you was talking. Hey, man, that sounds so familiar. Like father, older brother, like you ain't fucking yet. 12, dog. Like, what do you want from me? Like, so, and then being 12, these older men saying that, now I'm ashamed because I'm not fucking. So, exactly. So, yeah. So now, guess what mission I'm on now? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a domino effect. And I'll even say it's like it started earlier for me, bro. My father used to give me nudie magazines, bro. I didn't know how to read. He would just hand me one. I would just be flipping through it. No idea what I'm looking at, dog. Wait. You said you didn't know how to read. So, I mean, bro, I know you learned how to read at 5 or 6 years old. So you talking about that young? I was probably in diapers. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Man, I found a damn porn tape. It's what I found.
That was your first. Wait, that was your first exposure?
Exposure, yes. I found a porn tape called Black Magic. And I found
I still remember the name.
Called Backdoor Bonanza. Nigga, I swear to God, nigga, I'll never forget, dog. That was my first exposure, bro.
Wow.
Now that was okay. Let me. That's when I knew what I was doing. But my actual first exposure was back like when I was like probably like 4. I caught a woman and a man having sex in the car. I didn't know I didn't know what they were doing. But I do remember them like get away from here, and I just, walked the hell off. But that now that I think about it, that is my first exposure. But when I knew that it was actual sex was when I found that porn tape.
Nah, same. My pops horrible at hiding stuff. Literally horrible. I want to say I found my first little nudie magazine when I was like 4. And when I tell you he's horrible at hiding stuff, so we live in a 1-bedroom, like bottom of a house. Like we had the first floor and another couple had the top floor, and it was kind of set up like apartments or whatever, but it was it was just a house. So literally my parents have the bedroom in the back, and then you got the kitchen, and you got the dining room, and you got the living room and the front door. So that's how, the house is structured, shotgun style. And so this nigga had the porn bags underneath the couch, not even underneath the couch, behind the couch. And the couch wasn't even against the wall. The couch is like counter quarter. So you didn't even have to go under the couch. You just look behind.
Just stacked behind the couch.
It's an open. Wait a minute. It's an open space.
Man.
Like you can see clearly. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm like, man, we could put I'm thinking of like mom's got us rearranging the house. I'm like, okay, we could put a lamp behind. We could put the lamp behind the couch and still light up. You can just reach up and grab it. I'm being creative. I look behind the couch, and there's some damn titties on the magazine. Straight up.
Was it? There was some knuckers. That's what them was. There was some knuckers.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm crying. I'm crying literally, man. Man, I can't even remember my very first exposure to sex. That's what's crazy. I remember a lot of conversations, interactions that I know shouldn't have been happening at the age that they were happening. But all of it didn't come from, either, toxic upbringing from parents. A lot of it came from like people that was just a little bit older than me. Right. I can remember probably at the age of 6 or 7. And I might have been like either in the 2nd or 3rd grade. And, you had some 5th graders that, were teasing some of the younger kids about fucking, which, when I think about it, it's like, man, you're in 5th grade. If you fucking at that point, bro, you a legend. But they teasing each other about that, man. And so I don't really even know where my first exposure to it was. I did have all of the same experiences that y'all had. I had, uncles. I didn't never really find porn with my dad, but it was more so like with my uncles and older cousins. I always found, either magazines. I do remember, the first time I was 14, the first time that I actually did see a porno tape. And I found it on accident while visiting one of my aunts. My uncle, her man, he had a porn stash. And, it was a big family get together going on at the time, right? Kids running around everywhere. They barbecuing, they queuing out in the backyard. Somebody sent me into the bedroom to get something. And I must have, heard the directions wrong because I was looking in a place and I'm like, I can't find it. So I started looking through other places. And, either had a TV, one of them old school TV stands, wooden, that had the cabinets. So I reach into the cabinet and man, the porn tapes, they just a whole stash of them, man. I mean, he must have had about 20 tapes, man. It ain't nothing but porn, like all through it. And you know, some of them porns back in the day, man, like, you know, the cover, the box or whatever that they came in, like shit, that motherfucker, you can see what it is just without even putting the tape in, bro. And so I panicked because I'm in my aunt's room by myself. I panicked because I don't want nobody to run in here and see me. But then at the same time, man, my heart is racing, bro. My eyes is big. So I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. I might not never get this opportunity to come back in here again. I grabbed 2 of them tapes, stashed them in my pocket, nigga. And when I got I'm so ashamed about this, Uncle Mike. If you listening, man, please, man, don't even pull me to the side and have this conversation, man, because we 30 years beyond this, and I'm still embarrassed about it, man. Because I ain't never told them. Well, I told my little cousin about it, one of my younger cousins. You know, later on, I said, "Hey, nigga, I hit the jackpot." Right. And so me and my younger cousin, we would watch that shit. But that was where I first got my porn stash, man. But like you said, it seemed like grown men, like niggas didn't know how to hide shit. Now, of course, in today's times, we don't have the physical media. The shit is all digital. It's on our phones. But with that being said, it's a lot easier for these children, for these young folks to even access pornographic material than it was back then for us. Because for me, man, I found my first stash on accident, and I actually committed theft on that same day for the first time. So definitely, man, I don't know if anybody had similar experiences.
2 crimes in one day, first time.
Man, I'm telling you, I wasn't playing about it.
Third
I said,
strike
nigga,
is coming.
I said, nigga, it ain't no way. I probably never be in here again. And what was interesting was I actually was in that room again, maybe a year or so after that. And I went back in there and because I was at the house by myself at that time. I was babysitting some of the younger kids. And I would go back in there and just watch them while I was over there, you know, tell the younger kids, hey, man, knock on the door when you come in and that type of shit. So, but it's just crazy, man. So did anybody else want to chime in on that? Any other stories that y'all wanted to share about some toxic shit that we were exposed to?
Yeah, I can remember. I ain't never been a snitch per se, but It's been a couple times where I done been like porn has just been there, like when I was a kid, and I would just have to snitch, like, hey, just so you don't think this me. You know what I'm saying? Because like I can remember one time and we was young, you know, probably we like, you know, 15, 16, 17, we over my older cousin's house and we was on her computer. And then we was legit just looking up music stuff. You know, this was MySpace and everything was cracking. So, you know, get in there, doing the codes and all that, looking up codes. Because, you know, you basically had to put coding into the MySpace page and change the backgrounds and all that type of stuff. So we doing that. And then some porn had just came up. Because, you know, you got the autofill feature. So if you put in B, you know, black booties will come up, you know what I'm saying? So we must have did that. And then whatever that website was, like it brought up a whole bunch of pop-ups and brought up a little video automatically and it was playing through the speakers. So she came running in. And so we were just like, hey, that's you gonna have to talk to your husband. That wasn't us. We was looking up MySpace backgrounds and black booties came up. You know?
Yeah.
Straight up.
Niggas didn't understand them search engine, man. The search engine history back then, you know what I'm saying, when the internet was real young.
Hell
Niggas
yeah.
didn't understand, boy, you tell on yourself in a minute because, you know, there's a such thing as autofill, but a lot of it is still based on your history, bro. It ain't just gonna start saying black booty. That's hilarious.
Right,
man. So check it, man. I'm looking at the time, man. Let's take a quick break, man. Go to a commercial break, and we'll come back, man, and continue this dialogue, man. But great stuff so far, man. Let's get a word from our sponsor.
Angela Marie Publishing presents, in association with the Blacked Out Couch Podcast, The Healing Collection, featuring a apparel with 10 unique designs to represent your healing journey in style. Also, check out the Survivor, our custom tote bag tailored for carrying those day-to-day loads. A portion of all proceeds are donated to mental health organizations dedicated to the culture and the community. Visit our store by clicking the link in the description or going to www.angelamariepublishing.com to shop now and support the movement. Let's heal.
What up, podcast world? This your dude, Walt Lee Dundilla, the Popper, Mr. Activelli. Pull up on me, 1809 Vine, 8600 Ward Parkway, or yes, I'm KC.com.
KC is my home. Most scratched in the rest, where your bag at? Posted in the store, moving t-shirts and dad hats. Buy 3, get 1 free, you can have that. Niggas get planted, quintiles being lab rats.
As a community, we look at the word trauma as one of those hush-hush words.
Fall 2023.
It's a stigma around that word. Like, nobody wants to be labeled or be classified under that.
Angela Marie Publishing proudly presents.
If you look at it, trauma is merely just being exposed or voluntarily or involuntarily to a situation that changes your outlook.
Sit in your shit. A 30-day guided journal for processing a crisis.
You have become accustomed and immune to your own shit.
Written by Miss Devin Elise, certified life coach and founder of Lifted KC.
Because mental health doesn't care where you are, what you're doing, who you are. It's gonna kick in when it wanna kick in.
Fall 2023. Sit in your shit.
When it finds its place to trigger you, boom, you're triggered. If you don't deal with the trauma, you're gonna constantly be triggered.
The highly anticipated guided journal from Kansas City's own Devin Elise.
And one of the things that I'm learning in my associates with this healing is to be aware and to sit in my shit.
For more information, visit AngelaMariePublishing.com.
When I feel something, I sit there and figure it out. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling? Because when I can identify it, the next go round, I can prevent it before it comes.
Sit in your shit. Available now.
All right. We back, man. We back. So, man, I'm gonna jump right back into the dialogue, man. I actually just answered this question just through me rambling. But my next question, man, when did y'all lose your virginity? If y'all don't mind me asking. I told everybody I lost mine at 15.
Yeah, I lost mine at 18.
Okay. You kept your promise. So you kept your promise. I always wondered if you kept your promise to your pops, bro.
Yeah. I went on ahead and kept that, he really brought me up on integrity. You know what I'm saying? Then I didn't want to be a kid, raising a kid. You know what I'm saying? I seen, there's a lot of women in my family. So I seen all of my female cousins. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them getting pregnant at 16, 17, 15. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even trying to do that, So, but it was 18, and then I ain't gonna say I hit the ground running. Cause after that first time, I took a year off. Cause like I was saying earlier, where the ramifications of it and all that. Mm-hmm. So the chick I lose my virginity to, I'm thinking, we just on some cool shit. Cause we was in the band. I was off at school. We was in the band. You know what I'm saying? So, and we both play the same instrument. We on them long bus rides, you know what I'm saying? Sitting next to each other, getting, being cool. And on some real, it really came to me. She showed up at my dorm room 11 o'clock at night with the uniform on, you know, and the uniform back then was a tank top, some basketball shorts, and some Nike slides. So as soon as I open the door, I'm like, oh, okay, it's cracking. But bro, literally so the next day she had a boyfriend back at home. She was talking about she was feeling guilty or whatever. I'm like, well, nigga, you came to me, like, I don't know what you want. And I kid you not, bro, she tried to kill herself. She took a bottle of Tylenol. She took a whole bottle of Tylenol. They had to rush to the emergency room. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, is you all right? Is you cool? Like, what's up? And she tried to like blame me and all this other shit. And I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? You came to my room with the uniform on. My nigga, like, what are you talking about? But I'm like, all right, so, you know, we just be cool. Bro, literally within 2 weeks, she smashed like 4 or 5 other niggas on campus.
Oh, okay, yeah, she was dealing with some things.
And then, bro, after she smashed the 5 niggas, bro, and one of the times I even like broke bro code and like did some cock blocking shit. Cause like I seen her in his room and I went and got her. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you tripping. And the dude was looking at me funny, and I'm like, man, it ain't even like that. Like, but you know, but literally after all that, after the 2 weeks where she smashed like 4 or 5 niggas, you know what I'm saying? She literally hits me up and say, it's your fault. And I'm like, huh? She said, it's your fault. I'm like this. You need to take responsibility. I'm about to come over. I was like, no. Nah, I'm cool. And so after that one time, I didn't do it for like a year. I'm like, nigga, if this is what the dick do, I'm gonna have to keep this thing on the wraps for like not even on some, you know what I'm saying, big headed shit. Like the shit literally like was crazy.
Yeah, it's a traumatic experience.
Yeah, bro. And I didn't even realize it was traumatic until I was in therapy. Because I used to tell this story like at a party, you know what I'm saying? It was one of my party jokes. But then, you know what I'm saying, my therapist, she was like, tell that story again, and this time take all the jokes out of it. And then she was like, you see how crazy that shit sounds? I was like, yeah, that shit do sound crazy. Yeah, man. True story.
That's a pretty wild situation. And it's crazy because I'm looking at it from 2 different angles. I'm looking at it from where I sit today, and then I'm looking at it from you know, when I was young and in a horny rage. And I gotta commend you, brother G Don, because as traumatic of a situation as that was, I don't think that would have stopped me from trying to chase pussy. Just me personally, I think I had it that bad. Once I got my first piece of pussy, bro, I hit the ground running. I was ready. Right. So I commend you, bro. And I'm just being honest, because there ain't nothing but the fellas on here with us tonight, bro. But that definitely, man, is not something your therapist is actually absolutely right. It's not something that we should laugh and joke about, because that is a very, very crazy, very, very serious situation. But it also is right in line with why I'm asking the question, bro, because I think that when I think about things like this, most of the brothers that I knew, and if anybody else wants to answer that question, go right ahead. But most of the brothers that I knew lost their virginity at a very young age, when we were essentially still teenagers. Was that true for all of us here?
I can say so. Yeah, for me. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I was 15. Yeah, but she was a virgin too. You know, so it was that experience wasn't as epic as Don G, boy. Like I didn't know what the hell was going on.
yeah.
Watching all them porns, nigga. I thought I had to practice, but nah, bro.
I was ready.
Yeah, I thought I was ready.
You know, man. And JB, you know, you said it's also true for you, but on a serious note, man, when I think about, and this happens with a lot of the things that I think about when I think about just some of the things from my childhood, my adolescent experience, bro, 15, 16, 17, even 18 is young as fuck. Okay. And from where I sit now, I feel like that a young person is not mature enough, their mind is not developed enough, you haven't learned enough about your emotional reservoir. There's so much that we haven't learned that we learn along the way, bro, that I just, from where I sit now, man, I look back and I say, man, none of us should have been doing that shit at that young. We should have been exposed to those things at that young age. Would anybody else agree or disagree with that?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I 100% agree, and and I don't, like I said, in no way that situation I went through, it didn't inflate my ego. Like, it literally, straight up, it literally traumatized me, and I didn't touch a female for another year. You know what I'm saying? And part of the reason that I did have the wherewithal, because even though I was 18, still a baby, I wasn't 14. I wasn't 15. So I at least had some sense to be like, this ain't.
You was in college. Damn, they're grown, really.
Yeah. So even though I couldn't understand the nuances and complexities and everything, you know what I'm saying, all of that behind the situation, I at least knew, this ain't where it's at. I at least had the wherewithal to do that. So that's why even when I'm talking to my cousins and stuff like that, I always say, at least get yourself to 18, so you can at least make somewhat of an informed decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 18 definitely is a better, more ideal age. I still think it's too young though. I think, man, just when I look back, man, I just think, man, there's so much that you learn, man. I think one of the things that we learn, and I talk to my wife about this, I think that the older that we get, the better understanding or grasp we have on the concept of time in general, right? When you're younger, 2 weeks can feel like 2 months, right? But the older you get, you really start to understand what it means to be, 60 seconds in a minute, 24 hours in a day, right? You understand what those things mean a little bit more. So I think along with that, we can understand and make better decisions, bro. And sex for a lot of people, man, I'm gonna just be personal. Sex fucked me up, bro, being exposed to that at such a young age. Because like I told y'all, man, when I lost my virginity at 15, and it wasn't an epic moment, it was probably lasted maybe about 90 seconds, maybe 100 seconds. Right. I got into it and shit, a couple of strokes and I was done. Right. Wasn't nothing epic about it, bro, but I was hooked. Right. Because remember, I had been watching porn leading up into this. Right. So like Mr. Wiggs said, watching porn, you feel like you ready. And then when that moment come but you're so young, bro. Like, I'm going back to that, man. Was there would any of you brothers say that losing your virginity at a young age led to any sort of toxic behavior or addictions? For me, bro, I was addicted to both porn and sex, especially when I lost my virginity.
Nah, same. Even though I wasn't as young, just keeping it funky. I would say, I had a code that I would abide by, but behind that situation, I would say I spent, the majority of my early 20s up until 28, 29 as nigga. I was just a professional side nigga. Like, that's just what it was. Like, I had my code, you know what I'm saying? If I ever met you, shook your hand, looked you in the eye, I would never smash your chick. But, you know what I'm saying? If you an enigma, then nigga, so am I. And she up for grabs, So, but that's what led me down that path, you know what I'm saying? And, as men, we kind of, boast and brag about it sometimes here and there. But for me, that's all I was doing because that's all I felt that I was good for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I, tried a couple little relationships that lasted 2 months or whatever and didn't work out. But then they always kept coming back around trying to have that one last time, 3 or 4 or 5 times. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is just what I do. And then I kind of just fell into that role for a good, 6, 7, 8 years of just being a side nigga and not looking for a healthy, fulfilling relationship. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how it affected me.
Well,
My bad, I
on
was
me,
muted. Go ahead.
I'm with me, man. Like it was just something to do when it came to sex. I've always had this mindset or the thought process that I'm trying to do something bigger and better. Based off of my upbringing. A lot of times, it was more old school. It was more, countrified, so to speak. So, they try to look at it was more religious in my house. But like even after my virginity was broken, I didn't even get done until like my senior year. So, I wasn't really hypersexualized like that. But until I went into the military, when I went into the military, when I tell you, they teach your ass how to get some pussy, because it was like it was easy. Like I even recall a time that I hung out with Holly Rod, and he and this is a time.
Who was that? Who was Holly Rod?
Back then he wasn't Holly Rod, you know what I mean? Like that was just right. Hey man, listen, I don't know the chick name. I don't know. Like all I know is it was a black chick, and I met her through Rodney. I met her that night, busted her in the bathroom, and I ain't talked to that chick since. And I never cared. You know what I mean? Like when they talk about bodies, I don't even know my count because I stopped it at 60 something. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't even know my count, bro. Like so to say that I ain't gonna tell my wife. I ain't gonna let her hear this episode, maybe the other ones. She ain't gonna hear this episode. But
hold up. Did you sign a release?
Nope. I didn't. But like at some point, you just have to grow up. You know what I mean? And I just started like, okay, it's got to be something better than, just trying to, just get coochie. And I did that, like my brother said, man, for years. But my run was a little bit longer than yours, Z-Dog, man. I ain't gonna lie, boy. My run was probably about 15 of them, bro. And what's so crazy is this, man. I feel guilty about all that. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? It's
100.
Like why did I even do all that? I didn't like what come of it that actually made my life better? Nothing.
Yeah, man, that's 1,000%, man. Wig, I don't even remember that incident that you're talking about. I imagine it had to be when we were out of high school and at the college age.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Life was like that though. At that time, I mean, life was like that really before that time, man. Like for me, getting pussy was a fake it till you make it thing. Because Wig, you just said you lost your virginity real young, and then you didn't get no more pussy until your senior year. And we have to be in our 40s for you to even admit that, because back when we were teenagers, we in the locker room and everybody's in the locker room acting like we all just climbed out of some pussy, nigga, right when we got here to the gym, right? Yep. And so I wanted to speak about that culture, bro. Because the other thing is, for those of us that were not having sex on a regular, we weren't sexually active just yet on a regular routine, we still faked and acted like we were just to fit in, right? And I want to speak on that piece of the culture, man. Let's talk about our experiences or just our thought process with those sort of things, because all of these dynamics matter in terms of the behaviors and the habits that we end up developing later in life. So for me, like you said, Wig, when you just said what you said, That was the first thing I thought about, man. I thought I went into a real immature mode. Like, you lying motherfucker. I remember asking you when we was in high school and you said this and that. But we would treat each other differently based on whether or not the next nigga was getting some pussy. Am I right or wrong?
That's true. That's true. That's true. You know, and what's so crazy is this is, you know, a lot of our high school, you know, classmates, a lot of them had kids, you know what I mean, during that time. You know, but we wasn't the ones having the kids. We wasn't the ones really out there just busting it open with these chicks like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, it wasn't until my grown status, you know, when I got away from home and I, you know, got into the military. Like I said, they teach you how to get some coochie. Like that's like part of the training, you know what I mean? Like, but
you mean literally, nigga? Hold on, man. I thought you was on some metaphor shit, man. Y'all
no. It's metaphor. It's metaphorically.
Oh,
you know, but guess what? It's you know, you go out on town, you know what I mean, and you hanging with some of your buddies. You see what I'm saying? That's been in the military a little bit longer than you. They have a little bit more experience than you. They know where the good spots is, and all you got to do is say, I'm military, and they ready for it. And not only that, I was a Marine, you know what I mean? Which is totally, it ain't like, okay, oh yeah, he's in the Army. Oh, you a Marine, you know what I mean? So it even boosted my accolades to get some even more, you know what I mean? It was to the point, man, like we were giving women away, like I got a chick down in my room, her friend trying to come holler at me because I done already busted her. I'm cool with her. I done gave her over to my homie. Like, I was like, man, let her sit in your room, bro. And I was like, if you can get her, you can get her. Nigga, we get done at the end of the night, nigga. I'm like, where this nigga Trey at? Oh, yeah, he in there with that girl. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we kind of looked at it kind of immaturely, you know what I mean? We want to lie. We want to fit in, you know what I mean? But nowadays, man, these kids, they ain't got to lie, bro. They getting more pussy than we ever was getting.
But okay, so the reason why I asked that question, bro, is because, and I had this down on the list of questions, you know, hypersexuality is a big thing in our community, especially amongst Black men. I think that our locker room culture might be a little bit more aggressive than some of our brothers and sisters in other races. I think it's a little bit more aggressive coming from where we come from. And so I'm just thinking about how a lot of the times, bro, we define our identities is based on that, right? Like the amount of respect that we might have for the next man is based on that. Did y'all have that sort of a feeling growing up when we were young? Because I did.
Bro, I get that now as a 40-year-old.
Really?
So in having the conversations, when I say, oh, I ain't never hit a big chick. What? You tripping, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I ain't never messed with an ugly chick.
That's not the same way.
It's the same.
Hey, JB said, hey, I see the connection.
Hey, let me take it a step further. Break it all down. Let me take it a step further. That term, pussy has no face. That gets thrown at me constantly. Now, I disagree with that term because pussy's gonna go say, "Oh, I hit John, and this bitch is ugly. That's on me now." No. So, and to take a step back to the last question of the segment. So I would say this: I don't even remember if I was a junior or a senior when I lost my virginity. I don't remember. I'm trying my damnedest to remember. I've had sexual encounters before that. I would say 12 in terms of actually my penis touching a vagina. Was running a train on a chick. I got a couple of pumps in. I didn't finish. I don't consider that losing my virginity. Other people might disagree. But
nigga, you lost your virginity, nigga.
But
you put your dick in, hey. I don't think busting a nut makes a difference.
I think if you stroke, like, cause I think mine was only just two pumps, but like if I get one pump in, I think that's fucking.
Yeah, if you got some strokes in, you know, I'm gonna have to agree with that one because my first time I didn't finish. You know what I'm saying? We just got tired.
Yeah, me neither. Yep, I didn't either. I didn't finish the first time. So I have to agree that you did. You did it.
But
I still don't think that's the same, JB. Us, because I've been the ring leader in some of those conversations.
I know.
Where we talk about some of our long nights in history, and we talk about big chicks, or we talk about ugly chicks, and I've said that, man. Like, what you mean you ain't never hit a big chick? You ain't never hit an ugly chick? Shit, boy, you crazy in the motherfucker. You know what I mean? So I get that, but I don't think that's the same sort of shaming as we that were exposed to when we were kids in that locker room, bro.
I can agree with that.
I don't think that's quite the same. I'll tell you.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate and be on JB side on this one somewhat.
Okay.
But before I get into that one, because I got it all throughout high school, like I let it be known that I was a virgin. Like I wasn't ashamed, and even when I going into when I going off to college, like I'd share like, yeah, I'm a virgin because I went down there with some homeboys that, from school. One of my next door neighbor, I've been knowing this nigga since I was 6. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he knew that I was a virgin. So it would have been asinine for me to get up there and lie when I got two niggas that I brought, but two niggas that I came with that know me from high school. One who's known me since I was 6. For me to be getting up there lying, that would just been asinine.
Yeah.
But I would get the jokes like, you don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? You still ain't fell off into nothing or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like, luckily I had enough of a support system around me as far as being in the church and other friends some who were and some who weren't, who, when the jokes and all that quiet down, it was like, yeah, nigga, just wait till you're ready, and that was that. But to shoot JB some bail, when I hear people tell me that their numbers is too high, oh man, I hit 200-300 chicks. I'm like, man, a good portion of them was booger woofs, nigga. Like, you ain't gonna like just let's just keep it a beam, bro. Like, I'm an average looking dude, always been average looking, even at my high school, college, and being in shape. You know what I'm saying? So even unless you just a pretty boy, and even then, if you hit numbers that high, you got some booger woofs up in there. And the older we get, nigga, you might have some other stuff up in there. You know what I'm saying? like how many of them drunk random encounters in random cities? How many of them was you really sure they was what they said they was? You know what I'm saying? You in the 300-400s? Like, come on, bro.
3 or 4.
Now, like I said, I plead the fifth before the show started, but I don't think I've been in no 200s. I don't think I'm that high, but I'm gonna tell you this: I'd be lying to say that that they was not physically attractive on some of them.
Yeah, I don't. Again, the reason why I say I don't think it compares is because it's one thing the older you get, right? And niggas is like, man, you ain't getting no pussy. But when you younger and a motherfucker challenge you and say, man, you ain't fucking, it wouldn't matter if who I fucked was big or ugly or booger wolf or not. If I got some pussy, I got some pussy back then. That's why I say it ain't
right.
Quite the same as when we older. Because when you older, it's like, okay, bro, I could excuse that when you first getting started. You might not have had the best experiences, the best opportunities, but the older that you get, that ain't really a lot to be bragging off of, right?
Yeah, your selection might have been small. You know what I'm saying? The pretty girls didn't go to your high school, whatever.
Or on the block, right. Yeah.
It's still real fucked up though, right, fellas? Like, for us to treat each other like that. especially those of us who you know, and I'm gonna go back to Mr. Wig. Mr. Wig, now tonight, I hate to keep going back to this, but finding out that from sophomore year to senior year, you didn't get no pussy. You wasn't treating me like that when we was in them high school hallways, nigga. And you was talking bad shit to me. So especially for some of the kids that ain't even fucking to be coming down on the next brother. And you know, I'm fucking with you, Wig. But man, I was just telling one of my other homeboys about another incident, bro, that happened my freshman year at Southeast, bro. We were in gym class, and this was actually this wasn't another one of my male counterparts. This was a young lady that we were in school with, bro. We all graduated together. I already know you niggas gonna ask who it is, and I don't know if I'm gonna tell y'all or not. But man, we standing around in gym one day, and you know, we was like on the bleachers, and she caught me looking at her cleavage. You know, she had like a little sports bra on, and she caught me looking, bro. And I tried to play it off and look the other way. And she said, "What you looking at, Rodney? I saw you." And I said, "Girl, I don't know what you're talking about. I wasn't looking at nothing." She said, "Rodney," and she came and stood real close to me. She said, "You wouldn't know what to do with some good pussy if it hit you right in the face."
Damn.
Okay, now we 14 at this point, right? This is something that I never forgot, because when she said that to me, when I got home later on that day and it kept replaying in my head, I said, "Rodney, you know what? You wouldn't know what to do with some good pussy if it hit you right in the face," because I was just that young and hadn't lost my virginity yet, right?
So that brings up a good question. I don't want to cut you off too much, but
no, go ahead.
How old was you when you first got propositioned by a woman?
Whoo.
How old was you when you got propositioned? Not when you did
Where it wasn't us doing the chasing, where somebody walked up on you and said, "You need to hit this pussy." Yeah, because women is like that too. Bro, now we just been speaking for
fifth grade for me.
I was in 4th or 5th grade.
5th grade.
He was an 8th grader.
Wow.
5th grade.
It was 7th grade for me. 7th grade. It was just
she tried to do it on the bus. I'm like Jesus. Like, no.
Okay. I was thinking, boy, I got a long history when it comes to this hypersexuality shit, so I had to think about it. But you hit it right there on the nail, where you put the bright light off when you said something about on the bus, bro. I was a sophomore, so I was either 15 or 16, and somebody I was riding the school bus home with, she tried to fuck in the back of the bus, and I just was like, you know, I wouldn't pull my dick out. That's really what it was. I think that if I was comfortable enough to do that, because I think later in life I have had sex in public places, but at that time I was just so young that I couldn't believe she was coming at me like that. And that's wild though when you think about it, bro, because these young ladies, these young girls, they were kids, man. They were fucking children.
Right.
You know,
and then it's not because I bring that up because it's not always us, you know, like
it ain't.
We, you know, this is a men's podcast. We own accountability. We're the leaders of our nation. We got to do better, yada, yada, yada. But we got to also, every now and then, now, granted, we could talk about the situations that might have led to them being like that at such a young age. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't us. You know, sometimes it was just like, hey, and then because of the way society has placed it in our mind and in our lives and the place that it had, we might have just went along with it. Just like, all right, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, you know? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, because you know, they talk about you know, when the dialogue or the conversation comes up about sexual assault, right? You know, a lot of young men were sexually assaulted and never even considered it that because of the it's a double standard, right? We can kind of get into that, right? Is there a double standard in the way that society looks at sex as it pertains to men versus women? Do we follow that double standard? Are we ready to admit that? Because I'll be honest, I think I do have a double standard that won't go away, right? And let me give you an example. Okay, I have a very promiscuous history. I done fucked a lot of women. All right. When I got to the point where I said I'm looking for my life partner and my wife, she couldn't have had that on her fucking resume or record. She couldn't have had the same type of history. Okay.
I'm trying to tell you.
Now here's why I say the double standard exists, because I feel like I'm just as deserving of love, partnership, companionship as a woman who doesn't have all of that history, right? But I wouldn't feel like that if she did. So do y'all have that same belief and standard? Let's
Absolutely.
talk about it.
I disagree. I disagree just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go after D.
I'm gonna have to agree. Yes, from me, but I do agree that a woman that has that type of history does deserve the love and attention of a man for the rest of her life. If she, you know,
right. I think he's called a cuckold. Ain't that the term?
You say you got cuckold?
Leave it up to this nigga JB, man.
Oh man.
Okay, Wig, go ahead. Was you finished with your thought?
No, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
He hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. I will agree with D, because yes, absolutely, that woman is deserving of honor, love, and respect for somebody to love her the rest of her life. But I'm not that nigga.
Okay, you know what? That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So
that's that double standard.
It's a double standard, but I made it personal about me, right? I'm not the one. I'm not saying that, hey, you don't deserve love, right? I'm talking about from me, right? So I'm saying what I meant when I said that was, so for my wife, for instance, right? When I first met my wife, we started having very deep conversations with substance-filled conversations from the very beginning. And that was one of the first things that I told her. Okay, I told her that double standard right off the flip. Hey, listen, let me be honest with you. I just got out of a relationship and I was pimping. I'm talking about I had bitches selling pussy for me. So I had gone way off the deep end, right? I had been in threesomes, orgies, swinger clubs. I had done it all, right? I told her all this shit up front because I wanted to be honest. And then after I told her that, I asked, now, when you think about your history, do you have any of these things in your history? Because if so, we got to end this right now, right? So I said it was a double standard because I'm putting it out on the table that this is what's on my record, but it can't be on your record if you want love from me. Now, I'm saying it's a double standard because I don't think that any woman in her right mind is supposed to turn me down because it's on my record because I'm a man. That's what I mean when I say the double standard.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it like this, and hopefully this make it not sound so, misogynistic and niggerish. You know what I'm saying? But both sexes, we are both looking at your decision making skills. So I say all the time, don't no woman want a sucker. If her nigga is a sucker. That nigga, he could be pretty, he can make all the money, he could be tough as hell, but if that nigga a sucker, she ain't gonna respect that nigga. Bottom line, every time you go out the house, you gotta wonder if you're gonna be coming back with a $300 TV that you done paid $3,000 for. She ain't gonna fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Or you ain't gonna have control of the money. Same thing applies from men to women. Like, if you done got bamboozled and tricked out of your drawers that many times, or if you don't value yourself enough to where you and just gave the pussy away that many times, then nah. Now, you can say, oh, well, that wasn't me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But every level would be, even if that was, say, like I brought it up earlier before we started recording, or a lot of people would say, well, the number don't matter. Well, okay, if the number don't matter, let's talk about the timeline. Like if you 25, 26, and you just smash 15 niggas, that's not so bad. But if you only been fucking for a year and you smash 15 niggas, then that's some shit going on that you need to address as soon as possible. We're like, oh, okay, now you 30, you fuck 15 niggas in 1 year when you was 25. Okay, what led to that? What caused that? Why was you fucking 15 niggas? What? You didn't stop at 5? You didn't stop at 10? You fucked 15 niggas in 1 year? What was going on? And how far removed are you from that? But even then, it's like, just because you are capable of that, yeah, you might not be exhibiting the pattern of that, but because you are capable of that, that might not be something I might want to invest my livelihood in as a man. Because as a man, a woman and a wife is a man's greatest investment, in my opinion. So, you know,
hey,
you might.
I ain't gonna lie to you though, man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
go ahead.
I had a thought process, bro. A lot of these women be lying though.
Oh yeah,
about, you know, like. I could recall a story where, you know, she asking me to be her boyfriend during the whole session, and then, you know, 2 days later, she lying on Facebook, and she ain't had sex in 39 years, and I wanted to expose her, you know what I mean, and like, quit lying, you dirty piece of shit, you know what I mean? But I wait. I just, you know, was like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? She got to eat that lie. But my whole thing is like, nowadays, man, you know, you don't really know, so you really shouldn't even care.
Fuck that. Nope.
You don't get. How do you gonna know?
Hey, like this. So, don't ask the question because she might lie. Is that what you're saying?
No, she could volunteer to lie. You don't have to ask the question.
So I look at it like this. So if it's a lie, that's one thing. But if I know, but guess what? What's gonna happen when I find out? Because the truth, it has a habit of showing itself. Mm-hmm. So I look at it like this, and how I feel about it. If I'm choosing you, you're a representation of me. And as a woman, your past matters. And I had a good friend, he gave me a great analogy. Women, their past matters, but for men, their future matters.
I'm not disagreeing.
Hey, double standards
is process.
It's the reason why I'm the motherfucker getting up out of bed because she heard a noise.
Yeah, because my wife, though, she has a very low body count. So I get that. I get that point. You see what I'm saying? And how I know how she got a low body count, because it took too damn long for me to get to her. So and I'm not no, you know what I mean? Like, but this the thing though. I didn't pursue her for that though. I pursued her as my wife. So that's totally a different situation too. You see what I'm saying?
I agree. But like in the situation where, for me, the situation where, she has lied about it. So now I have to look at you completely different once I found out, because this is something that I've told you is important to me, and it's something that you've lied to me about for however many months or years. So I told you my do's and don'ts and my deal breakers and things like that up front, so we can both go into this serious situation, you know, both eyes wide open. And now I found out you didn't lie to me, you know. So now I'm looking at your integrity and your character, because you didn't lie to me about something, let alone because what you told me might not even have been that bad. Like if your body count 25, but you told me it was 15, it's like, all right, you know. But at the same time, you still that's a lie you upheld for however long. So if you can uphold that lie, how many lies can you uphold? Like now, what type of pattern are you exhibiting to me?
Now, I could get that part, but that's a lie that you wouldn't be able to find. You cannot find out the truth of a woman's body count like that. I could say that, yeah, that a lie would be covered or can be discovered if you say you didn't, like, she didn't fuck this certain particular nigga, and she lying, and you like, nah, I think you have. And she's like, no, I haven't. And all of a sudden you believe her. And then all of a sudden it comes through where, you know, a witness they came through. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, she told me that she didn't fuck this nigga. You see what I'm saying? Now that type of lie would be able to be exposed, but a body count, you cannot find out that one.
No, yeah, I agree. So in that situation, and again, double standard, If you that good of a liar and you can hold that in, that shit better stay secret. Just keep that on the low.
It better.
You know?
Right.
Again, now, me personally, body count ain't super important to me. Again,
if they tell you sober, if you asked her sober and she tell you a number, then asked her drunk and she tell you a number, and it's totally now that can happen. It could probably be exposed that way. Yeah. If you like, wait a minute, you said 10 when we started dating, nigga. How you got 35? We having this conversation now. Where's the discrepancy? Now that can happen, you know what I mean? But if she a good liar, you ain't gonna find out. The only guy gonna be able to expose that on Judgment Day.
Yeah, that's big facts. Now, but like JB and Holly was saying though, it's a double standard that they stand behind. You know, I stand sideways to it. I wouldn't say I stand behind it.
No, I agree with them because I knew my wife wasn't gonna be a woman that had high body count. You know what I mean? Like nobody really wants to marry that. Kevin Samuels is telling the whole truth about that situation. You know, like a lot. Like I had to tell my wife because she didn't like Kevin Samuels, but I had to break it down to her. I'm like, listen, you got to understand something when it comes to what he was saying. He wasn't dogging these women, he was dogging their egos. That's all he was doing, and he was telling them the truth. Like, listen, when you look at it from the standpoint of the biblical days, or even just go back a little bit, 50 years. You ain't even gotta say biblical days. Back 50 years, we were courting our women at that time. Like that, they were falling in love with their women before they ever even kissed the girl. Nowadays, it's like, oh, well, I got to test the waters first. Like, it's a switch. Like, and me personally, I think it's a spiritual switch. Like, it's prophecy that's being fulfilled. You know, where the wax of many shall, the love of many shall wax cold. What's that saying is nobody is caring about love. It's all about feelings and about, you know, just want to be selfish and they want to just do good for themselves. That all I want to feel good. Fuck what everybody else is thinking. I want to feel good. And back in the day, you know, when we were courting our women, it was, hey, I want to do something for her. I want to make her feel good. I want her to like me the way I like her. But that's not how it is these days. And I don't think that we'll ever even be able to get back to that point. Yeah, we're having this conversation because we have to do this one soul at a time. If we could spark one person to change the mindset of that generational curse type thought process, then we're doing our job. But on a whole, you know, and that's the spectrum, when you look at the whole thing, it's going to get worse. Right now, they're trying to put pedophile on the spectrum of like a mental illness, as if that's not evil. You see what I'm saying? And I believe that Satan is using sex to actually bring forth evil. That's where this whole pride thing is coming from. I'm not against anybody that is homosexual, you know, so I don't care about that. But my point is it's about self-love. It's not about the love of God. And I think that's where a lot of our youth is headed. They're doing self-love and they're leaving God out of it. And that's where it's going to be destruction and doom, what I'm seeing. That was deep, huh?
It was a lot if you believe in that stuff.
Right. Now, let's talk about, because it all ties into it. You know what I mean? Like, let's think about this, bro. Because a lot of the sex or the thought processes that we had as younger versus what we have now is based off of how your change of morality has changed, like how your thought process of morality has changed. who makes the standards of morality? Is it man or is it God?
So to say that, to bring God into it in terms of morality, when not everybody on this planet believes in the same God nor has the same religion.
Right.
So morality can't be a uniform code because there's not a uniform teacher.
So what code says that rape is good? In back in go history, or do you see I'm getting at? Like rape, the most rapists, it's about power and control. What I've been these professionals are saying. These rapists it's about power and control. It ain't even about sex. But for the woman, she got sexually assaulted and brutalized. Okay. So that standard of morality should be, I guess you could say, a monopoly. It should be across the board. But now they're trying to make it, or what should I say, instead of black and white, they're trying to make it a gray area. So that gray area situation, you could say different religions or whatever the case may be. The whole point is nobody can actually stop themselves from dying, and nobody had any control to be born. So there has to be some type of control outside of that to do that. So it doesn't matter whether it's a different religion or any of that. The point is that who sets the standards of morality? And that's how you can understand where the hypersexual, that think about it, even with the whole, the ramp up the sexuality just now, my pussy hole pink, my booty hole brown. Like, wait, now don't get it twisted. I don't know if y'all ever heard of MC Choice. Y'all remember that rapper MC Choice?
No, I don't know MC Choice, but I know it was
Trina. Everybody know Trina.
Yeah, Lil Trina, Kim. But it was sisters back in the 30s and 40s. It was I can't remember her name, but she had an old blues song.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
mm-hmm. she was in the 40s talking about some, if you eat my pussy, I'll suck your dick and all that.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, in the 40s.
So to speak on the grounds of morality, so the morality that we have in this country is based on religion, just based on the history. So
you believe that?
Y'all hear
absolutely.
Me? Okay, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So even though it's supposed to be a separation of church and state, Holly, we went off the deep end, but even though it's supposed to be a separation of church and state, it's literally laws are based on religion. And that's where a moral code would come from, that you would speak of, that everybody would believe in. Now, at some point, you just got to think in terms of right from wrong, and when that kicks in. So, and a lot of that comes from how you're taught. It's more nurture versus nature, if that makes sense to you. It's taught. Now, when we're born, when you're 3 or 4, nobody has to teach you how to lie. It's avoidant behavior because you're trying to avoid punishment. So that's just something natural in you. Now, I would say there are some natural laws. You brought up rape. Now, I would say there are some natural laws. If I'm approaching a woman and I'm grabbing her and she's screaming and she's not happy with me grabbing her and screaming her, something in my head is going to say, this ain't right.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that's something that I was taught or if that's just natural, but I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, I just don't think, I don't know. I'm saying a lot, but I don't know. We could talk about this.
Hey, what did I miss? What did I miss?
You don't want to know.
I do, man. Like I'm pissed off. I'm over here screaming and shit. And my computer just tripped out on me. What did I miss, bro? What we talking about now?
We talking about a lot. Where did we start?
Well, no, I was
double standards.
Yeah, we were talking about double standards, but then I had kind of shifted to talking about how the difference in where the morality is coming in and how we look at sex. Is it a human concept that we're dealing within this, or does God have any say so in this? So that's where it kind of shifted as far as that point is, because my thought process was this: it's like everything was about, back in the days, it was a courting process. About 50 years ago, it was a courting process. You didn't even get to kiss the girl and y'all were ready to get married. You see what I'm saying? Whereas today, it's everything is hypersexualized. I gotta try it before I buy it. You know what I mean? Type of, concept and thought process. So I'm like, okay, so where is this change of morality? What has changed in that? Is it the thought process? Is it God, or is it man doing this? And that's where my contention is because I feel like that we don't realize that there is evil, and we do realize it, but we don't know people don't know where it comes from, because like JB said, it's like, well, this person, he was taught this way, this person has this morality clause, this person has this religion, this person is serving this God. But when you look internally, when you took those porn tapes, nobody had to tell you that was wrong. You felt that. So even when we were hype, think about it, how you felt when you start to thinking and you done fucking, right, and you didn't already hit, and you like, man, why I fuck her? Why you didn't felt nasty after you done it? Everybody then felt guilty behind doing that.
Yeah, you saying like the moral code. We all have a moral code that kind of kicks in, even if we don't discuss it, even if it's something just internal. But what were y'all leading to with that moral code? Were we just talking about?
Well, I just brought up the fact that not everybody believes in the same God, and there are different religions, right. So there's not a uniform code to morality that everybody can agree on.
Yeah,
right.
To kind of the way the conversation kind of flowed for me, and I won't speak on the religious aspect of it because everybody don't believe the same. Now, me, I'm a believer. Jesus is my nigga. Yada yada. That's what it is. But just speaking from a worldly aspect or a perspective. Women were a part of property. They were valuable, the fact that you could carry on your seed and everything like that. So on one hand, they were both devalued and valued more because they held such an important place. So their own free will and choices were devalued, but their place in society was kind of upheld. Because, a woman could die by giving birth, but at the same time, if that woman dies, that's also now one less hand helping out on the farm or wherever, however folks was living back in the day. Now, as society has progressed and, we have birth control. So now the idea of sex isn't so much of a death wish as it used to be, because, the mortality rates was crazy for women back in the day. A woman, you had every now and then you had a woman who would pop out 11 kids and be cool, but there was a lot of men who would be on their third and fourth wife because every wife died during childbirth. So just even the idea of sex, like, oh, you might be feeling something, but if you let that man stick his dick in you, you could die, die during childbirth. And as, health science has progressed and, birth control and things like that, on one hand, you have, of course, women's liberation and freedom, a woman's body, her choice, all things which should have happened, and I'm glad they happened. But you also have a lot of the old morals and values of men that have really stayed the same. And I still have a whole lot of them. And, some of them I want to change, some of them I don't change. I see the logic in it. I do see the logic in the fact that if I'm going to choose a wife what is a man's greatest investment, if she treats her body a certain way, then yes, that does make me look at her differently based on if I'm going to maybe just smash her one time, if I'm going to just hang out with her and be cool and, we smash every now and then, or if I'm going to actually marry her and build a life with her. But on the flip side, when it comes to like the whole body count situation, a lot of women are saying, rightfully so, like, hey, men can do what they want to do. I want to do what I want to do, XYZ. But but just the logic behind it, what's happening is that some of the old ramifications of that is showing itself true. The women who tended to be a lot more promiscuous, when they do get married, the marriages tend not to last. Yeah, everybody could point to one, I know somebody, blah, blah, blah. Speaking in generalities, those marriages tend not to last because one or two of them tend to stray or shit just don't work. So, just kind of bringing it all the way in from a worldly perspective, I do think the whole body count thing is something that may or may not die out. Again, it's not something that double standard isn't one I stand behind. I kind of stand on the side of it because I do see some of the logic in it, and we are kind of seeing some of the ramifications of not caring about a woman's body count and how that's kind of leading some men, and they're becoming the examples of saying, "Oh, okay, no, let's hold on. We might just hold on to this particular little double standard for another generation or two before we let that one go." Because it used to be. If the woman wasn't a virgin, she wasn't worth nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if we let that go, fuck that. She ain't no virgin. That nigga, you stupid. If you only want to be with a virgin, then something's wrong with you in general. But if you saying, I just want my woman to have been a little bit more picky and more choosy with who she gave her body to me, that's still within the realm of reason.
And that's where I lost connection. Because I was talking about how I had kind of had that conversation with my wife to be. And how I didn't think that she was supposed to hold that against me, but I'm at the same time I'm telling her straight out, I'm gonna hold that against you. And I was for me, I was real strict with the double standard. I even asked her if she had ever stripped, worked at a strip club or even thought about stripping. I told her if you would have told me that times was kind of hard my sophomore year in college, I thought about going, I would have ended it from that, just the thought of it, right? Because I knew that for me it was a little different because it was based upon a lot of the hypersexual lifestyle that I had been exposed to, and I wanted to find myself walking away from that life. So I didn't want anybody that reminded me of that or that had similar experiences of a certain type. But I don't think that it's anything wrong with a man having that sort of a double standard as far as body count is concerned. If we want to get into those sort of specifics, definitely, man. I don't know if y'all threw the numbers out there, but is that something that we want to talk about? What would be a deal breaker, body count wise, for what I'm saying, man versus a woman?
Ooh. Yeah, for me, again, I said it before, the number ain't super important.
It's the spurts for you.
It's the spurts. Yeah. if you, because I'm 34, you know what I'm saying? So if you smash 10 niggas in college, I ain't worried about that. Now, if you smash probably 30, 40, 50 niggas in college, then nah. Because you don't know self-control. Basically, that's saying left up to your own devices, you will wild out. So if you do that with your body, are you gonna do that with my money? Are you gonna do that with our time? You know what I'm saying? If the chance that say we going through a rough patch and we got a bunch of kids, and then we finally get a little break from that, are you gonna be itching to run out and do something crazy? Not saying you're gonna fuck somebody, but just anything. You're gonna be itching to go out and do something crazy and reckless just out the blue. So to me, that's a red flag and that's a no-go. So for me, it's more so the spurts and the time frames versus body count. Now, on the flip side of that, if it's a chick that only fucked 3 niggas a year, but she fucked 3 niggas a year consistently for 10 years, come on now. that's still something like, what's going on with you? So you was literally just watching the clock. All right, it's midnight, you know what I'm saying? On the 30th, I can go fuck a new nigga. Like, yeah, nah.
So wait a minute, G-Dye. So I want to make sure I'm following you correctly. For you, the body count, the total number doesn't matter as much. It's just really about as much. It's more so about the respect, the discipline that you have for your body. But I think from what I'm gathering, I think that you've been, for most of your life, you haven't been at the undisciplined like me. Like, bro, I was You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, one of my nicknames with my frat brothers in college was B fucking. A lot of niggas never heard that, but I had a couple of frat brothers that would call me B fucking, right? Because I be fucking, right? So I'm saying, were you the type of brother that didn't have that sort of a lifestyle where you know you could look somebody in the eye and say, hey, your body count shouldn't be of a certain number because mine isn't of a certain number?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it ain't really a double standard for you then.
Yeah, nah, because if your body count is double mine, then we got an issue. So my body count my body count ain't that high. Like I wasn't really keeping track, but I ain't got more bodies than my age, and I'm 34. So
okay. So your body count is, I would consider your body count low. Just to be honest, as a man.
Yeah, that's cool.
You have a very low body count if you in your 30s and your body count ain't higher than your age.
Yeah.
That to me is a low body count for a man because of the standards, I think. And I think that a lot of us in society, we kind of share those same standards. But are they problematic? We know that they misogynistic in some ways. But G-Don, I don't think you really fall under that category. I don't think that you really hold a double standard because you can proudly say that your body count is still fairly low, especially from a man's standpoint.
Yeah.
For me, I wouldn't give a damn, and I do believe my body count is 200 something. I did lose track after a while. There was a long period of time that I kept track. I actually kept a list, which was stupid as shit. But I used to keep a list and keep numbers. But once I got to about 60 something, then I lost track. And I hate to be putting all my business out here. I know they're gonna watch this like, boy, that nigga's a hoe. But I did, man. I got a lot of pussy throughout life, bro. And it wasn't something that I was gonna hide when I was ready to settle down and look for love, right? D Wig made a comment earlier. He said some of these women be lying about their body count. But my thing was I didn't want to lie, and I didn't want the next woman to lie, but I also wanted to be clear that I will hold this against you because I do have this double standard, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's wild. So, how far does that double standard go? Like we talked about body count. What about I had a question in here about Instagram or OnlyFans models. Is that something that in this over-sexualized society?
Hell no.
That would be a deal breaker. You wouldn't allow your partner to be either one. You said neither one of them.
Neither one.
Because one of them is kind of PG. Like if you an Instagram chick, I mean, you just got titties and ass out, in bikinis and that sort of things. But you're saying neither one, whether it was Instagram or the more explicit OnlyFans, you wouldn't be with that. I
don't respect either one of them. So, and I can tell you, I follow some IG baddies. I don't even know what they sound like because I don't care. Like, they be trying to have those inspirational quotes and shit. I don't care. And then and let them show they got a kid. I'm deleting her. Like you serve your purpose, boy. Like, bro. Ain't no way. Hold on. Ain't no way my woman is gonna be putting my goods out there like that. Hold on. Be independent, baby. Modeling, no problem. You're gonna be single. Fuck that.
What about modeling, bro? Like now, this is where I'm getting at. I get what you're saying.
He said IGs, so speak to the specifics. Instagram hoes, you can call them a model if you want to. I can get a fucking camera and take some pictures and be an Instagram model.
Well, no, because you ain't got the influence. Like,
how do you think they get that influence?
So I was being specific about Instagram models because I think that's kind of that's the picture platform, right? So but what I was really alluding to was more so just the type of woman, the type of person that likes to post thirst traps and revealing material online, whether it's sexually explicit or not sexually explicit. And that's why I said Instagram versus OnlyFans, because they both kind of fall under that category. And the only thing that separates them is the level of explicit content.
It's attention-seeking behavior.
Yeah, it's attention-seeking. So for me, I mean, of course, y'all know it would definitely be a deal breaker for me. But like what JB said, the double standard goes even further, because at the same time, you might follow some of these misguided young ladies, and you might enjoy some of their content, but you don't want that for your woman at home. Where do we get that line of thinking from, is my question.
That's a great question, because if you go on any type of social media platform, my wife's pictures are nothing but modest pictures. At one point, she did try to go modeling, do a couple of model shoots and things like that, where she has some shorts on, but that's about it. But it's only that one picture. You know what I mean? When it comes to, that type of situation, man, to me, perception is truth. Me and my wife were having a discussion, how, what truth is versus what perception is. And basically, if you perceive that woman is a hoe based off of her pictures and her model or her Instagram modeling, then definitely your perception is truth. No matter, she could be, don't even do nothing, as far as what we would call a hoe, but perception is truth. Now, what a lot of people don't know, the history of OnlyFans was not started. It didn't start with that idea in the way that it is today. OnlyFans started for celebrities to actually just to deal with their fans only. And it was the Instagram models, I believe, that actually boosted the OnlyFans things into sexuality, where that thought process can come from. That, if she's an Instagram model, she a hoe, because I think that, like you said, I do believe that they push that based off of, them being Instagram models. But perception is everything, and I think perception is truth. So that's why I kind of agree with that. Let
me not get it. Let me make sure I'm clear on my perception, on how I look at it. Right. If you are an OnlyFans girl, then I consider you a hoe. Okay. You might not be a traditional prostitute, but you a cyber hoe, right? Like, right. We in a different day and age. I can pay for sexual entertainment from you, and that's, to me, that's what a hoe is, right? Like, a hoe is somebody that I can pay. There can be a transaction involved, and you can entertain me in a sexual manner, right? So,
well, hold up, but they're not getting penetrated. They're not getting fucked.
They're still an adult entertainment. They are selling sexual content. So think about this, right? Somebody that poses in a nude magazine back in the day. I'm not marrying her. That's just, you know what I mean? Like, that's how men think. I'm not marrying that bitch because everybody done seen her titties. So it don't matter. Well, hey, I didn't never actually sell no pussy. Think about a stripper, somebody that works at the strip club that ain't selling pussy. She's still selling sexual fantasies, sexual interactions, sexual content. And to me, I didn't want to have nothing to do with that for the person that I was gonna marry, that was gonna carry on my legacy and be my partner, my life partner. I think a lot of men feel that way. Now, I think I think times have changed now, because more women are more willing to have their titties and ass out for the public and everybody to see than what we were used to growing up, because we didn't have the internet and that sort of thing. But even back then, bro, like, you know, I don't know if any of you niggas was successful at this, but man, it would be like pulling teeth just to get a woman to take a naked picture with a Polaroid back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can keep the picture. I'm not taking that picture. Women felt like that back in the day. It was a much more clear line drawn in the sand in terms of this type of behavior is whole behavior, and this is the type of behavior that you do when you have more respect and class for yourself, right? The lines have been blurred now, right? Because I spoke about the OnlyFans, but then you go to the Instagram side where it might not necessarily, I don't necessarily consider Instagram girls to be hoes the same way I would look at an OnlyFans model. But they right there on the verge. Okay. That's just like a stripper. I know she don't sell pussy, but in my mind, she right there on the verge of selling pussy.
Yeah, but I guarantee you, them Instagram models, I get where you coming from, but them Instagram models, if a nigga gonna offer them enough money for that picture, she gonna sell it.
Oh, well, that's the thing. Like you hit the nail on the head when you talked about the origins of OnlyFans. I find out that more and more each day, I find out that women that are Instagram famous have an OnlyFans, or they own Twitter, which is now called
Twitter.
X, and they ass fucking naked, titties and everything like I said, it's they on the verge of it, right? And some of them, not all of the Instagram, the women that post on Instagram, the thirst traps, not all of them are posting explicit material elsewhere, but many of them are. And for me, I think I speak for a lot of men, even men that have that same sort of over-sexualized history. You don't want that for who you choose as your life partner.
Facts. Yeah, because that was important to me. That was important to me. You know, and I have to be totally honest with you. Like the two women that I did date that had fathers were like that. They wasn't over sexual. Like, to me, you know, like it makes a big difference with the fathers, you know what I mean, with the daughter. And fathers in their lives, because the thing is now they don't have to be pimpified, so to speak. A nigga he can't rap his game against her. You see what I'm saying? And those type of women, you know, seem to be, you know, more like the more virtuous women. You see what I'm saying? That's what I've been noticed, like, when it comes to that. So, you know, as a man, you know, I don't have daughters, but I know one thing. I will raise her to be virtuous. You see what I'm saying? And like you said, JB was talking about, I was ready to give my son the key. Like, hey, boy, hey, get you some hoes, nigga. Let me get you together, boy. But, you know, now we don't want that for our sons, though.
Yeah, nah, we don't. I don't think that I would be anything like at least in that aspect, man. Like, some of the things that my dad would say to me, or some of the things that some of my uncles would say, I don't think that I will be anything like that. Because again, like when I do a lot of my reflecting and thinking about some of the things that I went through as a child, I realized just how young I truly was, bro. You know, losing my virginity at 15. You understand? Like that, bro, that's a fucking kid, man. Like, and when you see it in the generations that come after you, you start to be around like some of your nieces, your nephews, your younger cousins, like, you know, for some of you brothers that are parents, your own children. When you just in the back of your mind, you like, damn, boy, when I was your age, I was doing this, and that. Right. And so I don't think that we want that for the next generation. I do think that we all have matured to the point where we recognize some of the toxic things. There are some toxic things that we still gonna hold on to. And I think for me, that's why I spend so much time on the double standard, because the double standard is something that I don't think that I'm ever gonna go away from. But I think that my way of sort of addressing that is to not teach the next generation of young boys the same way that I was taught. I think that that's the way that I get rid of the double standard. But as it pertains for myself, hey, look, you couldn't have certain things on your record if you thought you ever was gonna have a chance at a future with me. So I don't know, man. Good stuff though, man. I think I'm looking at the time, man. We definitely can keep rambling on and on about this, man. But we had a really good dialogue. Did y'all have any other thoughts? Any other talking points that y'all wanted to touch on before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to say thank you, man, for being diligent, bro. For sending those invites out to me. You know, a lot of those times, man, my intentions was definitely, you know, to make it, you know, and, you know, things just didn't transpire that way. But thank you for, you know, being diligent with those invites, man. And I was glad to, you know, to make this last episode on this first season, man.
For sure, bro. You know, it's been a really interesting season. But like one of the things that we've done consistently after each episode, the week after each episode airs, we always get on Clubhouse and we do the unpacking session where we open it up. It becomes co-ed. We invite the sisters in, or if it's a sisters episode, they invite the brothers in to where we can just open it up and just kind of unpack this episode. So I do look forward to the week after this, us getting on Clubhouse and doing unpacking. But Mr. Wig, you've been joining us on unpacking throughout this first season, bro. So you know, even though you was new on you know, the brothers on the
right,
tonight, you definitely
yes sir.
You've been there, man, for the unpackings, man, and we definitely, man, we're always, man, thankful to hear from you, bro. But you know, I try to extend those invitations out to everybody, whether you've ever made it or not. I think when I got emails from some of the first brothers when we started having the first meetings about this project, you know, earlier in the year in the springtime, I still send all of them the same emails, the same invites to those emails, even if they haven't continued to participate, man, because, you know, this has been, first and foremost, it's a project that we want to make available to the public, open up in this podcast format. But at its core, bro, is really just a platform for us as man to just talk and unpack, decompress, unwind. And I want to continue to have that platform for men that you know what I'm saying, that want to join us in on these conversations, even if you're not going to speak. You know, even if you brothers had your cameras off all night, even if you ain't gonna have your camera on, you don't have to have your microphone either. If you just want to be backstage, this is for anybody that's watching. If you want to just be backstage and just hang out with us, just trying to soak up the energy and absorb, you know, some of this energy that we transferring, that's what I do this for, bro. So I definitely, man, I appreciate that coming from you, Mr. Wig, bro. But I appreciate y'all more than anything, bro, because y'all definitely have helped us along this whole season, man. And I look forward to talking to y'all every time, man. Every time we think about some different talking points and subject matters, man. So definitely, man, I appreciate y'all, brothers.
Right on.
Well, look, man, I ain't really got nothing else, man. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, man. This was a really, really, really good, healthy discussion, man. I cannot wait until, like I said earlier, the Clubhouse session next week. So make sure you follow us on Clubhouse and all of the streaming platforms. You know, we also on YouTube, we on Spotify, we on all of the streaming platforms. But this will be the final episode from the Brothers panel. The next episode that you see that will air will be from the scriptures, and that will be actually the official season finale. And then we'll do unpackings on both of those episodes. So if y'all ain't got nothing else, man, I appreciate everybody for joining. We will see y'all next week. Peace, love, and blessings.